we'll be going over practice 1B, page 22, numbers 1 through 8 in the 5A textbook. Before I do that, I just want to go over one problem from page 10 and one problem from page 11 of your workbook, just because I know those were a little more difficult. On the bottom of page 10, letter H, it says to estimate the value of this, and they have 6,300,649 minus 100,874, and we're supposed to estimate that, so we use this squiggly to show that we're going to approximate the answer. So we can write an approximation for each of these that we think will make it easier to subtract. So this one we might change to this, 6,300,000, and then this one we could just, it's pretty close to 100,000. So we might change it to that. And now you might notice in the answer key it says answers may vary here because you may estimate them differently. If I was doing this problem, this is how I would do it. Now I have two numbers and they both have 5 zeros. So you can kind of imagine them if you were subtracting this using a vertical algorithm. You can kind of imagine them like this. So those 5 zeros match up like this, and all you really need to do is subtract 63 minus 1, and that's 62. And then you add those 5 zeros back on. So I would say this is approximately 6,200,000 on that one. And then I want to look at the bottom of page 6, letter H. Or I'm sorry, the bottom of page 11. So this is page 11, this is page 10 of the workbook. Okay, bottom of page 11, letter H. That one says 639,813 divided by 9, and we're supposed to estimate what that is. So now with division, you want to approximate this number to something that's easily divisible by 9. And when I look at this, I see a 63, and 63 is a multiple of 9. So 63 is easily divisible by 9. So if I just approximate this number to this, 630,000, now I have something that is easily divisible by 9. Here again, I can look at, I have 4 zeros. I know that 63 divided by 9 is 7, so 63 followed by 4 zeros divided by 9 would be 7 followed by 4 zeros. 70,000. So I would say this is approximately 70,000. Okay, so that is just a little help on your homework pages 10 and 11 from the workbook. Now we will move on to that practice 1B. Okay, number 1 asks you to find all the factors of each number. So let's look at 1A, 56. So we want to find the factors of 56. So we can start with 1 times 56, and then we can say, is it divisible by 2? It's even, so yes, I can take half of 56, that's 28. How about 3? The sum of the digits is 5 plus 6, 11. 11 is not divisible by 3, so the number is not divisible by 3. 3 will not work. 4. Now remember, if we can divide by 2 twice, then 4 is divisible. Here, I divided by 2 once, 28. I can divide that 28 again by 2 and get 14. So I know that 4 times 14 is 56. 5. 5 is not a factor of 56 because it doesn't end in a 5 or a 0. 6. Well, I know 6 times 9 is 54. So that's 56 is not going to be a factor or a multiple of 6. 7. Yes, 7 times 8 is 56. And now we've reached the middle. There's no numbers in between those two, so we know we're done. We list out our numbers now. 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 14, 28, and 56. Those are all the factors of 56. Let's do another one, 72. So again, we start with 1 times 72, 2 times 36, 3 times, I know 3 is a factor because 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 is divisible by 3, so the number 72 is divisible by 3. If I don't know what it is, I can go off to the side and do some division. 72 divided by 3. And I get 24. So 3 times 24. Now 4 is 4 a factor? I know 4 will be a factor because 2 was a factor. It was 2 times 36. I can take half of that 36 again. I would get 18. So 4 times 18 works. 5 will not work. 6. 6. Now we learn that if 2 is a factor and 3 is a factor, then 6 must be a factor. So let's divide 6 into 72. You get 12. 7 does not go into 72, but 8 times 9 is 72. Again, I've reached the middle. There's no numbers in between 8 and 9. I know I'm done. Now I just list them in order. I go down and then up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, 18, 24, 36, and 72. Those are all the factors of 72. And how about C? I'm not going to do every single problem here, but I'll do C, 108. Start with 1 times 108. 2 times half of that is 54. 3 is a factor because if I take the sum of the digits, I get 9. Since 9 is divisible by 3, the number is divisible by 3. If I don't know what it is, I can go off to the side. 108 divided by 3. And I get 36. Now 4. 4 is a factor. I know that because, again, 2 was a factor, and I can divide this 54 by 2 again, which would be 27. So 4 times 27 is 108. 5 is not a factor because it does not end in 5 or 0. 6 is a factor because it was divisible by 2 and 3, so it must be divisible by 6. I can go off to the side and figure out what that is. 6 times 18. All right, 7 is 7 a factor? Well, if you're not sure, just check it out. Nope, that does not come out evenly. 7 is not a factor. 8 is not a factor. 9. Let's see, let's test. Oh, 9. We can use our 9 rule. Our 9 rule is if you add up the sum of the digits and they're divisible by 9, then the number is divisible by 9. 1 plus 8 is 9, so it is divisible by 9. So we can just go off to the side, divide it out. We get 9 times 12. And inside here we only have 10 or 11 to test between these two numbers. 10 is not a factor because it doesn't end in a 0, and 11 is not a factor either. So now we have all of our factors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, 27, 36, 54, and 108. All the factors. So I'm just kind of listing them down and then back up. So I'm not going to do D, but this should give you a good idea of how to find those factors. Okay, I didn't go over 1D, but here's the answer for you to check that. And moving on to number 2, we're looking for the greatest common factor of each pair of numbers. The first one says 12 and 72. So you want to find the factors of each and then find the greatest common factor, a factor that they both have. So the factors of 12, let's do that first. So we have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. And that's all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. The factors of 72, which we did on the previous question. And we said those factors were 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, 18, 24, 36, and 72. So we did that as part of number 1. So now we can find the greatest common. So let's find what we have in common. Well, 1 is always in common, so we won't even count that. We have 2 in common, we have 3 in common, we have 4 in common, we have 6 in common, we have 12 in common. So it looks like the greatest common factor is 12. So the answer to that one is 12. Okay, the next one, they're looking at the greatest common factor of 18 and 57. So first, let's find the factors of 18. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. 4 is not a factor, 5, so that's it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 18. So now how about 57? Well, we have 1 times 57. 2 is not a factor because it's not even. 3 will be a factor because the sum of the digits is 12, which is divisible by 3. So I don't know what that is. I can do 57 divided by 3. And we get 19. I don't think there's any other factors. 4 can't be a factor because 2 wasn't. 5 cannot be a factor because it doesn't end in 5 or 0. 6, 7, 8, 9. No, there's no other factors. So we have 1, 3, 19, and 57. So now the greatest common factor. Looks like we have 3, which is common, and that's it. So the greatest common factor there is 3. Okay, I'm not going to go through C, but the answer is 12 for C. Now let's move on to number 3, which says, list the first 4 multiples of each number. So the first one, 3A, we are starting with 5. So multiples of 5. So we count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, and 20. Letter B, we're counting by 7s. We're doing multiples of 7. So 7, 14, 21, 28. Think of your math facts. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. C, 8. Again, think of your math facts. 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 8 times 3, and 8 times 4. And then 9. 9. So 9 times 1, 9 times 2, 9 times 3, and 9 times 4. So those are the first 4 multiples of each. Let's move on to number 5. Okay. Number 5, it says find the missing factors. So blank times 6 is 84. So it's saying something times 6 is 84. To figure out what that is, we would just divide by 6. So we do 84 divide by 6. And we get 14. So the answer there is 14. So you can kind of think of this as if you were trying to find out if 6 is a factor of 84. The way you can figure that out is to divide it out by 6. If it comes out evenly, yes, then 6 is a factor. Let's do B. 5 times something, sorry, this is 5. 5 times something is 120. Okay, so we want to take 120 and divide by 5 to figure out what that is. So 120 divide by 5. And you get 24. Okay. C. Something times 3 is 99. This one you can probably do in your head. 33 times 3 would be 99. 33. Because 3 times 3 is 9. If you were to multiply this out, this 3 times 3 is 9, this 3 times 3 is 9. 99. D. Something times 5 is 75. So if you don't know what that is, divide it out. 75 divided by 5. 15. E. 4 times something equals 116. I don't know what that is. I'm going to divide it out. 116 divided by 4. I get 29. And the last one, F. 6 times something equals 132. If you don't know what that is, divide it out. 132 divided by 6. Get 22. Okay, and let's go on to the last few problems here. We are on 6. 6 says, which of the following numbers have 2 as a factor? Our choices are A is 42, B is 63, C is 128, D is 349. Which of those have 2 as a factor? In order to have 2 as a factor, it must be even. The only ones that are even are those. Number 7, which of these have 3 as a factor? And our choices are 92, 69, 252, and 413. If I copied those right, hopefully. Okay, which have 3 as a factor. Now, the rule for 3 is if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3, then the number is divisible by 3. So we just add the digits. 9 plus 2 is 11. 11 is not divisible by 3, so that one is not divisible by 3. 69, 6 plus 9 is 15. That is divisible by 3, so that number is divisible by 3. 252. If we add the sum of those digits, 2 plus 5 is 7 plus 2 is 9. That is divisible by 3, so that number is divisible by 3. And then 413, 4 plus 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 is not divisible by 3, so that number is not divisible by 3. And one more problem. Number 8. Which of the following have 5 as a factor? Our choices are 40, 82, wait, am I copying this right? Yes, 40, 82, 195, and 660. So in order to be divisible by 5, the number needs to end in a 5 or a 0. So this one, and this one are all divisible by 5. So those are the 8 questions you were supposed to do. For the quiz on Monday, I will choose 3 questions, and they will be in, I'll probably ask you to find factors of a number, all the factors of a number. I might ask you to find a greatest common factor. Oh, I just realized I skipped number 4. All right, we need to go back to number 4. So, number 4. Number 4, find the lowest common multiples of each. So 4A, 3 and 5. So what we want to do is list the multiples of each until we find one in common. What I like to do is start with the higher number, because sometimes when I do that, I will recognize when one is also a multiple of the smaller number. And when I count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, I get to 15, I know that is a multiple of 3. So that's my answer. I could have also listed out my 3's and gotten to 15. But I like to, when I do this, I like to take my larger number, just start counting until I get to a number that I know is also a multiple of my smaller number. So that answer is 15. B, we're looking at 6 and 8. Okay, so again, I'm just going to start with my larger number and start counting. 8, 16, 24. Oh, I know that 24 is also a multiple of 6, because 6 times 4 is 24. So I know that's my answer. Again, I could have done the same thing with my 6's, 6, 12, 18, 24, to find that common multiple of 24. But I knew when I counted by 8s, when I got to 24, that that was the first of these multiples that was also a multiple of 6. So the answer here is 24. And then the last one, C, we're looking at 3 numbers, 4, 6, and 9. So we're going to find the least common multiple, or the lowest common multiple of these 3 numbers. So again, I like to start with my biggest one and just see if it occurs to me if I see a number that's also a multiple of 4 and 6. So I start with my 9's. 9, 18, no, 18 is not a multiple of those. 9 times 3 is 27. No, that doesn't work for either of those. 9 times 4 is 36. Oh, that looks like it could work here, because 6 times 6 is 36, and 4 times 9 would be 36. So that's your answer. But again, if you need to do it the long way, you can just list out all of these multiples of 4. And if you did that, you would get to 36. And same with 6. If you list out your multiples of 6, you would get to 36. So the first multiple that's common to all 3 of these is 36. So that is called the lowest common multiple. So that one is 36. All right, now I think I've covered all the questions. So for the quiz for next week, make sure you know how to find factors, make sure you know how to find multiples, greatest common factor, lowest common multiple, and you should be good if you can do that.
Y-E-A-H. Yay for math!